The Supreme Court has given SpiceJet 2 weeks to encash a bank guarantee and pay Kalanithi Maran 270 crore rupees and interest worth 75 crore rupees for an arbitral award worth 579 crores dating back to 2018. SpiceJet's lawyer has asked for the interest rate to be lowered and has said that Marans are in fact free to reverse the transaction and take the airline back if they like. Ashmit joins us now with what transpired in court today. Mukul Rohgi making that argument, Ashmit, but where does this really leave things in all earnest?
Well, it's quite colourful to have Mr. Mukul Rohgi arguing in the apex court, but short of that comment, essentially the argument that he had been making, that Mukul Rohgi had been making on account of SpiceJet essentially, is that, look, the interest burden that is being computed is too much, is too excessive, and that's the argument being made. Let's break down the numbers here as far as our viewers are concerned. The total principal amount that had to be paid by SpiceJet to Marans was 579 crore rupees, but that was way back in 2018. Since then, the clock of the interest has been running, the meter has been running, and as of February of this year, Marans have computed the interest amount payable at 362 crores. That's at essentially 18% interest being computed over the last 4 years. Now, what's important is that SpiceJet on its part has said that, look, we've paid 8 crore rupees in cash, the balance 270. We'll pay by way of a bank guarantee. And as far as the interest component is concerned, we would like to argue that, we would like to debate that before the High Court. Now, so towards that end, the Supreme Court has passed three-part order. The number one is, as far as the principal amount is concerned, SpiceJet very clearly has been directed that the 270 crore rupee bank guarantee needs to be encashed, and then subsequently that payment needs to be made to the Marans within 2 weeks' time. Now, this is something that SpiceJet had been provisioning for, as that was an offer on the table for the last very many years. The second aspect is the Supreme Court has directed SpiceJet to pay 75 crore rupees from that disputed claim of 362 crore rupees in interest amount, and that has to be paid within 4 weeks' time. And essentially what the Supreme Court has said, that this issue of whether or not the interest is to be paid, how much is to be paid, is in fact free to be contested and argued before the Delhi High Court. So that is essentially the broad takeaway from today's hearing. An additional amount of 75 crore rupees to be paid by SpiceJet, as well as, of course, that bank guarantee amount of 270 crore rupees. The larger issue of interest amount, that is to be debated before the Delhi High Court.
Well, Ashmit, before I let you go, the other important hearing that is on in the Supreme Court in the Adani Hindenburg matter, if you can very quickly run us through what has transpired in court.
Well, this was a big-ticket matter that was listed before the Chief Justice's bench, and importantly, let's remind our viewers that on Friday, the Chief Justice has asked the Solicitor General very specifically three questions. Number one, is the current framework enough? Number two, is there room for, in fact, improving upon this current framework for investor protection? And that is something that SEBI, in fact, had conversations over the weekend with the Finance Ministry. So that was the second question. The third is there room for an expert panel to be constituted? Now, these questions were answered very briefly by the Solicitor General in a hearing before the Apex Court. The Solicitor General appearing for the government said that as far as the current framework for investor protection is concerned, it is sufficiently competent to deal with such shocks to the system, and that there's no reason to, in fact, tinker with that as of this stage. However, the Solicitor General said that the suggestion that fell from the Apex Court, that are there any alternatives or perhaps means or legislative tools required to further strengthen the framework? On that, the Solicitor General said that they're open. The government is open for consultation on that. He's even open to a suggestion of an expert panel. However, there are two caveats that the Solicitor General planted in Chief Justice's mind. Number one is that one should be wary of sending any adverse signals to the global markets and to the global investors, and that is something that we'll have to be wary of in case of an expert committee. And towards that end, the Solicitor General had said that the remit of the expert panel should be limited so as to not send any adverse signals, and that the Solicitor General, on behalf of the government, will be the one suggesting names of these experts, and importantly has said that both the issue of the remit as well as names of these experts will be sent in a sealed envelope. These proceedings have now been placed for further hearing on Friday.
All right, Ashmit, appreciate you joining us. We will, of course, come back to you for more developments. Now, there has been a global push